So we're now going to move on to our third speaker, and we've got Kevin Etter from UPS. I don't think there is a bio in the book for Kevin, so just briefly, he's the Global Strategy Manager at the UPS Healthcare Logistics, and currently he has the privilege of being seconded into Gavi. Just quickly on UPS, it's interesting. I meet quite a lot of people from UPS, and typically if I ask them how long they've been with the organization, it's usually around 20, 30 years. I think when I've talked to some people and they've said 10 years, they have only been there 10 years. So it's always amazed me how UPS has been able to set up their business such that they can develop people and bring them through the organization. And Kevin is going to share, well, Kevin was going to share. You're not gone yet, no?
Yeah, you ran me off.
So Kevin's going to share some of that with us today.
Yeah, well, it starts out, Ian, it's a great thing you didn't need your specs because you left them, but I guess you couldn't see that. Unfortunately, I have the opposite problem of Ian. I actually need my specs to see far away. So I'm going to use it to even read the big screen. And I know if you looked in your program, you probably saw that Kevin was from Switzerland. And I know that some of you were maybe going for your translators, thinking I might be up here going to give this in French, but I'm not. And unless one of these booths up here has the strong Southern U.S. accent translation, you're flat out of luck. But anyway, as Maeve said, I get the honor of spending the next few minutes to really talk about what we do at UPS around leadership development. But I want to back off of it just a little bit because we spent yesterday, a good number of us in this room spent yesterday talking about leadership. We talked about leaders. We sort of wore that word out. And I think one of the lessons to me during that was very simply that word means very different things in very different parts of the world. So I would rather, if I'd had time, would have changed my presentation. But instead of talking about leadership, I'm going to talk about what success looks like at UPS and how we develop and how we bring successful people into our system and up through our system. And the other thing that occurs to me is that not everybody in the room may know exactly what UPS is. We have a significant presence in certain parts of the world, but we don't have a presence in some places of the world. So UPS is a very large, one of the world's largest logistics companies. We were developed in 1908 by the gentleman you see on the screen. So we've been doing supply chain for quite a number of years, for well over 100 years now. So hopefully, in that amount of time, somebody has figured out what to do. And probably part of that what to do is how to get and maintain people. And Maeve is very, very serious. If you're 10 years at UPS, you still consider yourself relatively young, relatively learning. And we're going to talk about that today. It starts with a word, determination, and it starts in my entire presentation is going to be around this key phrase that is very often associated with Jim Casey. It's called determined people working together can do anything. Now, I have to put people in parentheses there because Jim said this in a very different era. The original citation is determined men working together can do anything, but again, that was a different era, and typically the audiences he was talking to were 100% male. But today, we go by determined people working together can do anything. And I'm going to look at it, and I appreciate Ian with the lesson, because this is what I'm telling you, and I'm going to tell you this throughout, and then I'm going to tell you it again. And it's 3 parts. So, Ian, without even knowing what you're talking about, I took notes and did this. So anyway, so let's evaluate this. So determined people. One of the things that I have learned is since joining Gavi and since really getting in this space is, and I look out in the room, there's no shortage of determination. We're all here because we are very, very, very determined to solve some very important issues in our world. So I applaud you for that. And, so I see right now, I'm speaking to the right audience with this. And you jump straight away to that last phrase, that can do anything. So if you think determined people can do anything, Well, I look out in the room too, and I see you believe that as well. That can do anything. That's the hope. That's the knowledge that we can change the world. And you guys, or you folks, are all, that's kind of what you're about. But the sticky part becomes that middle phrase, right? That working together. That's that human resources component. That's that HR component. So I'm going to walk you through 3 steps. It's going to look at each of those phases. Determined people, working together, can do anything. Jim also says one measure of our success will be the degree to which you can build others up who work with you. That is a critical key component. Please remember that. So how do we do this? I said we're not going to call it leadership. We're going to call it shared success. At UPS, we share everything. And we break it down into 3. And I'll even borrow the PTD strategy, and I'm going to say there's a 3+1. That shared ownership will be the last thing we talk about, and that's kind of the +1. But we share values. We share mission. We share vision. Our values are why we do what we do. They're our enduring beliefs. Our mission is what we hope to achieve, what we want to achieve, and that's our guiding principles. And then our shared vision is where we want to go, and that's our horizon. And then, like I said, we'll talk a little bit about the +1. So what are shared values? I don't have a whole lot of time, and Andrew will be waving the thing at me in a minute. So, but, we have a list of them, certainly, and we think of them as a continuum. And then we start with integrity, and we grow to teamwork. But there's one that's not on here. There's one that's not on here, and it is probably the most important one. And if there's a single enduring belief at UPS that drives us in everything that we do every day, it's called constructive dissatisfaction. That is our core value. Every day we go into our jobs giving it everything that we can, but we know that we can do it better than we did yesterday. We know that we can do it better than we did the day before. And again, as I look out into this room, I know that there is a significant amount of constructive dissatisfaction. You know that your health systems can be better. We know that the supply chain can be better. We know that vaccines and medicines and health workers, we know that that can be better. We're not satisfied. We're not happy with the status quo. So one of our key enduring beliefs, our shared values, if you want to wrap it all up, it's constructive dissatisfaction. We know we can do better. We achieve. We seek to do better. Our next one, we share the mission. We have many missions, but we have a couple of them around our people. We want to inspire people, and we want to lead people. That all sounds very simple, right? Well, let's talk about one thing, one aspect that I think makes us a little bit unique, more so than other organizations I've worked with. I'm halfway there. I see that. So more than other organizations that I've worked with, one of the key principles at UPS evolves around this idea of people development. If you are a manager or a management person at UPS, your responsibilities go well beyond just the task at hand, whether that's delivering a package, whether that's scheduling a flight, whether that's doing whatever, whether that's managing a group of people, developing a marketing plan. Your job is beyond that. In fact, those tasks are fully only half your job. The other half of your job is to develop the people around you. Every management person at UPS has the explicit responsibility of developing the people around them. Now, what do we mean by developing? Well, that's mentorship, that's training, that's accounting, accountability, that's those type of things. So if this panel, if I worked in the proximity of this panel, the panel worked for me, I worked for them, we all have a responsibility one to another to help each other grow personally, grow professionally, grow within the company. And that's a key. So if I had to wrap up one thing around our shared mission, it's our people development policies and that fact that you are responsible for developing other people. Now, one of the things that enables you to do that is you have the trust of the people around you that they're developing you as well. So not only are you a mentor to many people, there are many people that are mentoring you as well. Let's go on to the third one. That's our horizon. That's our vision. We really wrap vision around investments to create and transform. You go back to what I was talking about earlier of constructive dissatisfaction. Because we are always seeking, because when you walk in the door that day, in fact, on your way to work, you're already talking about how things could be better than they were yesterday. You're thinking about the new ideas and how things can be different. Because you're already doing that, then you're already well down that road. Another famous saying from from Jim Casey says, "Our horizon is as distant as our mind's eye wishes it to be." So our horizon is as distant as our mind's eye wants it to be. We encourage big ideas. It was brought up yesterday, Alice, in the video that she did. She had a quote from somebody, I think it was Donald Trump. He said, "You got to think anyway, so why not think big?" Right? Well, we encourage that big thinking. We absolutely encourage that big thinking. This is the area where we talk about best practices, promising practices. But what I wanted you to take away from this particular discussion is that these build our values, build our mission, which builds our vision. Okay? So if you don't take away anything else, it's those three things. We share values, we share mission, we share vision. So it's all wrapped up into one. I would be a little remiss if I didn't try to sum this up. I see it. As kind of what defines our culture. I think the one thing that would really define our culture is our shared ownership concept. And I was a little reluctant to put this slide together, and I was a little reluctant to put some of the components on it. But, in all candor, it is an absolute part of our success. Part of our success, part of what drives us every single day is that there is a component of our compensation that is tied to ownership. So we're paid in ownership stakes in the company. Nobody in this room probably has that opportunity, so we can put that aside. But we can still share ownership. We can still share our passion. We can still share our mission. We can still share the genuine, the heart that we bring to the job every single day, to the mission, to your quest. But we also share results. And we talk a lot about accountability. UPS is a highly accountable. We probably violate a bunch of Ian's rules. We measure everything, literally everything. We would know exactly how many squares are in this floor. So we probably over measure. So Ian, I'm going to take some of your lessons back. But we own those results, and we own them as a group. We own them as a team. We own them as a body. So it's not just how did Kevin do today, how did Maeve do today, how did Andrew do today, and on down the line. No, it's how did we do today. I contributed, Maeve contributed, Andrew, everybody contributed. How did we? And we very much look at those results. I won't read this, but when we think about where the future leaders are going to be, we very much look under our nose. Under our nose is the very first place we got to look. We have a deep commitment to promoting from within, and that all goes back to developing your people and mentoring your people. You have to present those opportunities for folks. Otherwise, they will flee. Part of how we keep them excited is we provide opportunity for growth in your career, in your personal life. So, to follow the model, I'll tell you what I told you. Our success is really through shared values, shared mission, a shared vision, and then shared ownership. And thank you. I think I went just a bit over.
Thank you very much, Kevin.